Hello. Today I want to talk about a type of dog training which is very useful, and it's kind of special in its own way because it doesn't require you to kind of get the dog in a position for them to do this. So it's not really behavioural training. So if you're looking for behavioural training, it probably won't help you with that. It's more for interesting things like trick work. Like if you've seen on the internet, there's dogs that blow bubbles in their water bowl, for instance. You know, weird stuff, put it like that, weird stuff, or sneezing on command, and you think, wow, how would they do that? How on earth do they even begin doing that? Well, it's actually more simple than you think, but it takes a bit of time. It's called capturing a behavior. So there's a few ways of getting a dog to do what you want. There's luring, which is literally as it says on the tin. So you get your treat and you lure it into certain positions. You can do this for Lucy walking with the puppy. You have the treat at your ankle and you lure it forwards. There's shaping, which again, it's similar to luring, but you give the dog more treats. So like for shaping, you might get the dog into a sit with a treat, then you lower the treat slowly to the floor, and then give it another one. So you're shaping a behavior. There's manipulation as well, which again, if you wanted to kind of get your dog to lie down and you put a bit of pressure kind of on its back or shoulders and then got into a lie down, that's manipulation. I don't really like manipulation as a whole. I'm just going to put that out there very quickly because a lot of dogs just don't respond to it well. All the other things work a lot faster and a lot better, and a lot of dogs that won't lie down, it's because people have tried to manipulate them into it basically, and they've just resisted. So capturing is different all on its own, because what it is that you're waiting for the dog to do this behavior all on its own, right? So completely on its own. And then whenever they do this behavior, you would reward them for it. So if you into clicker training, so as in you click, reward the dog, click, reward the dog, until the dog associates the clicker as meaning reward, you could use that. That's probably your easiest bet. And there's another way as well, which I'll go into in a minute, but let's say that you kind of wanted your dog to sneeze on command, for instance. So what you'd do is you'd wait for your dog to do it. Now, this is where it's tricky because you've got to kind of wait for it to happen naturally. But if your dog sneezed, you'd click. Now, it does have to already know what a clicker means, otherwise there's no point. So you'd click and reward. You probably could just skip the click if you wanted, but it's going to happen a lot faster. But the dog does the action and then you reward the dog, right? And then you do this enough times till the dog starts performing the action, because it knows that something good's going to happen, right? So that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for it to happen, you mark, or you just go straight to reward, and then you have to wait for it to happen again, which could take a long time, especially sneezing. I mean, my dog doesn't even sneeze every day, right? So it's going to take a while, but this is what we do. We can use it for things like down as well. We had a dog that really didn't want to go down, so he said, look, just do it by capturing the behavior, wait for him to lie down and reward him. And she said actually he got it by the end of the day. He was a very intelligent dog. He was a Thai Ridgeback, and they are extremely intelligent. But this is what you can do. You don't have to actually get involved with your dog's learning. You have to kind of capture it, almost like kind of taking a photograph of it. Now, the other way, which I did, and I didn't use any treats at all, okay? And this is quite good, because it means that you don't have to have treats on you. I didn't do it with clicker either. It literally is the easiest thing in the world. Probably will be fast with treats, and again a bit faster with the clicker. So if you're really on this, if you're I want my dog to learn this particular thing and this is our mission, then do the clicker training, get the treats going. There's two things that I taught my dogs to do on command without any food reward or clicker training at all. The first one was to go for a wee on command. Very useful when you're toilet training. In fact, whenever I see anyone for a toilet training problem, I say start teaching them to wee on command, so that you can literally empty out your dog and then you can go out and know that your dog's fine. And the way that I did was, every time my dog was weeing, like exactly when they were weeing, as long as it's outside and not in the house, I'd be going wee wee, wee wee, wee wee, all the way through, and then she stopped, I've stopped. No food required. Reason why no food is required is because it's self-rewarding. It is rewarding to have an empty bladder. You'll know this yourself. It's rewarding for the dog anyway. Don't need to do anything else. So adding it in while the dog is doing the action, and also just before the action as well. be careful with doing it before the action, because if your dog is going to be interrupted, so if you see your dog crouching and then you say wee wee, and then your dog just gets up, it's like, what's that? Why have they done that? You kind of ruined it for yourself. So I like to start with the actual, something's happening, the dog is actually weeing, there's no way they can stop weeing, that's it, we're done. And then once that's kind of more continuous, then you can start adding it on before, because the dog will already know your voice. Does that make sense? They've already kind of got used to hearing your voice anyway, so it shouldn't distract them. But that's what you want. And it takes a little while. I mean, I think probably my greyhound took about 3 months, but really she took about 3 months to do anything. She took 3 months to learn a name. So that is her. She's not bright, unfortunately. With my other dog, something interesting I taught her to do on command is dig. Now, again, very useful behaviour. Me, I used this in lockdown because I had to follow my little toddler around and we couldn't walk far, and I didn't want her disappearing. But I noticed she loved digging, so I wanted her just to dig near us so I could see her, I knew where she was. And then I noticed it had the added benefit of it wore her nails down, so I never have to trim her nails. Even now, I never have to trim them. She's a bit of a pickle for it, basically. Now, I know I could do the whole positive thing, and to be honest, I would if I had to, but if you've ever done that, it takes a very, very long time. She's very, very nervous, so even if you have an intention, like a thought, and you hold her paw, she will start pulling it away very, very slowly, and then she will squeak. After the squeak comes a scream. You know, you haven't even got the clippers out, it's just she knows your intention. She's very, very sensitive, she's very, very vocal as well, and it makes everybody jump, and I just don't like it at all. So she does it herself, absolutely fantastic. So the way I did this, very similar to the toilet training with Sky, is that I every time I saw her digging, I would just go dig 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 dig. Now I kept the excitement up, right, because it's, you know, she loves it, it's high exciting, and I would just do it, and honestly within about a week she got it. And again, no reward involved, no marker involved, it's just association. To be honest, if you ever kind of were into the science behind it, it's called classical conditioning. So now I can go anywhere. I mean, I can't get her to do it on concrete, do you know what I mean? She's one, it's because she's a very, very kind of sensible dog in that respect, but you know, she knows it's going to cause her pain, so I can't get her to do it on that. But I can now go anywhere, I can point to anything on the ground and say dig dig, and she will dig anywhere, and she usually keeps it up. Digging in itself is quite a kind of self-rewarding / OCD behaviour, and she's managed to teach other dogs we go on walks on to dig just because they've watched her. And they're like, well, that looks good, that looks relaxing, and now they all dig as well, really obsessively. I've got a patio garden, so she can't dig outside anyway, but she digs everywhere, and she can actually she digs holes so deep and so fast she can get her whole body in. But yeah, her nails are worn down just by digging. I would say probably a minimum of kind of probably 2 hours a week, which actually it is quite a long time. But I go on super long walks, sometimes we're out all day with the dogs and the kids, and we're sitting down and she's like, that smells interesting, I'm going to dig it up. Only once has she ever dug up a mouse, which she didn't know what to do with, bless her. But yeah, this is kind of, yeah, what you can do for various things. So some of these things are going to be useful, like, you know, toilet training, very, very useful. Digging was very useful for me, and if your dog has got a digging problem, to be honest, I would still teach them dig on command, but teach them a different area. We've got a whole podcast on digging on the garden and how to stop it. If you want to have a listen to that, it goes right in depth of everything you need to know. But yeah, this is how people have managed to teach their dogs to blow bubbles in the water, and do all those crazy tricks where you can't actually manipulate or lure your dog into doing it for you. They've just done it by capturing. It's very, very useful. Have a go at it. See if you can kind of think of something kind of weird and wonderful, and start rewarding your dog for it, and then get a key word going. Or you can do it like me. If it's already self-rewarding, like digging, chewing, anything like that, self-rewarding, just add a word into it until your dog gets that, oh, that means I do this. It's brilliant, it's really rewarding, and easy to do. If you're interested in more videos or stuff that I do, I am on TikTok. I usually put my TikTok videos also on Facebook and Instagram, so just search Fawn Dog for those. And the main website is fawndog1to1dogtraining.co.uk. Thanks for listening, guys.